Welcome to the Diary of a Manager, your go-to resource for actionable managing tips, insights on management concepts, and effective ways on how to manage yourself. With your host, Brunello. And now, here's the show. Today we have a very special guest. She's a lawyer. She is the head of the legal team in the Asia Pacific region of a large logistics company. She has extensive knowledge in corporate legal practice and managing legal professionals in different jurisdictions. We discuss a lot of topics, including the life of being a lawyer, how to manage different people from different backgrounds, and things like strategic thinking, AI, how to handle stress, and a lot more. This is part 3 of the 3-part series of this episode, and please listen to the first 2 episodes if you haven't yet. So get ready as we continue on the interview with Christina.
Previously in part 2.
They could say I'm fabulous, they could say I'm terrible, I don't know. But to me, it's not less important, of course. I don't mean it's less important, but my priority is ensuring that my team feels supported and that we do our job.
And now in today's show for part 3.
Strategic thinking. How do you plan your week, for example, in terms of, different jurisdictions managing all this?
We don't. It's virtually impossible. Like if I was to, because it's such a fast-paced business and things are constantly happening and challenges.
There's almost no point for a plan.
There's no point. You can't have a week where you plan anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get a reasonable degree of accuracy when it comes to understanding what the contract pipeline will be over the coming 5-10 days, but that's about it. That's the extent of it. We can't plan anything else. We have no idea what requests will be coming in from our global office or our regional office. We've got no idea what fire will need to be put out in the next 3 days. We just don't know because it's constantly moving. Yeah. So we can't. Yeah.
Does it make the job difficult, or is that where you're getting challenged, or do you consider it as challenge?
I like the fluidity of how things change and how there's constantly things that need to be resolved or problems that need to be solved. But I don't think I think it's just a normal part of the industry, if I'm being honest with you, because the current industry we work in is so...
Yep. Okay. Yep. So what about in terms of other things that affect you as a manager, for example, family, does that affect the way you do your job in terms of managing a large team, or does the job affect the family, or the family affects and vice versa?
I think my team may have a different view. I don't know. I think I manage to compartmentalise quite well in the sense that if I'm having challenges, for example, on a personal front, like the kids are frustrating me or whatever it is, I manage to segregate that from the work, I think. Or vice versa. I think if something is happening that's particularly challenging in the work aspect, I compartmentalise from a personal aspect. But you know what? It depends. I think I might do it, and then you might go back and ask my kids and they might tell you something completely different. So I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, we're human. And it's like I was saying earlier, there's nothing wrong with showing that human aspect from time to time, because we're all breathing the same air. We've all got challenges outside of work, whether it's, like I said, moving house or having a sick family member or whatever it is. Or a breakup. Or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, exactly.
It's like, it's okay to admit that that's there, and you shouldn't feel ashamed of it or hide from that fact. And having a supportive work environment where you are able to do that, I think, is very important, and can lead to that culture of feeling like you're supported. Because work is such a big part of our lives, right? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Majority of the week, 5 days a week.
100%.
Yeah.
By the time you factor in, 8 hours and the rest, but
Yeah.
times 5 days a week, it's a huge chunk of our lives that we're investing into an organisation.
Yes.
Which you do willingly, and you do it, of course we do it for a salary and it's all great, but you do it because you want to do it as well. And
Yeah.
and I do love what I do. So yeah, people in my team know I've got 3 kids, I'm married,
Yeah.
my 3 kids play in 3 different teams, which means I've got 9 separate sets of sporting commitments every week. So people know that I've got that, and I don't hide that or shy away from that fact. And in fact, I think that that's what makes me more human, is the fact that, hey guys, I can't take this call at 9 o'clock at night because I've got to take my kids to basketball. It's just part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So compartmentalize.
I think, you try to. You try to. But I think from an emotional aspect, you try not to let one affect the other.
Yeah. Which is difficult for some people to do.
Of course.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where your skill comes in terms of how to actually shut off. Once you're doing your family thing at that particular time, you just got to completely shut off and focus on that. Otherwise, you're not doing justice to either of them.
Correct.
If you're thinking about work with family, or if you're thinking about family while at work.
Yep.
Do you use resources at all, like books, videos, in terms of how to approach teams and how to manage people, or do you just learn it on the job?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. As we discussed briefly earlier, to the extent that I do have time to listen to a podcast or two, I'll try and hone in on true crime.
Yeah.
Because I like that. I like that area, and I like to disconnect from reality a little bit. So I love, listening to that.
It's an escape. Yeah, basically.
It's a little bit of an escape. But no, and my role being regional means that I have a lot of global calls at night as well.
Yeah.
As you know,
Yeah.
so I don't get that time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
So,
to tap into extra resources.
Exactly.
and
So
do
you
that.
just learn from.
To me, it's all on the job. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your view about AI or ChatGPT, or do you think people should use it?
On a legal front, absolutely not. I think everyone knows it's littered with absolute risks, and I think that there was a recent case on the fact that the integrity of AI just couldn't be trusted. As a resource overall, I think it's quite good. But I think, as I said, it's littered with risks.
Yeah. So personally, you wouldn't want to use it.
No. I think it's definitely got its benefits. I think if we can adapt the technology to something relatively simple like contracts, it's a big tick, and it could save quite a lot of time as far as legal contract reviews are concerned. But as far as litigation and any sort of complex cases are concerned, I just would be very reluctant to put that in the hands of a system that's run by.
Okay. So no for an AI for legal perspective. Now, career in terms of, particularly with legal, because obviously with the legal career you start from being a lawyer, managing a team. What's a typical career progression for a lawyer in terms of how to progress?
So typically you commence your career as a graduate. So you start as a graduate lawyer, and then you move into a lawyer level career. So you start off as a graduate, then you're officially a lawyer that you usually specialise in a particular area. If you're in a private law firm, you would specialise in either property or wills and estates or family law or whatever area it is you're focusing on. Then you eventually graduate your way into a senior legal counsel or a senior lawyer role. And then if you move in-house, you move into the executive general counsel territory. So it's lawyer, senior legal counsel, general counsel. They're your kind of 3 main tiers. And that's pretty much the natural trajectory. But beyond that, a lot of lawyers go into executive level roles like MDs or CEOs and stuff like that. They want to branch out into a more business level role. Other lawyers who have done perhaps double degrees like finance, law degrees, veer off into accounting,
Consulting,
and commercial type roles as well. So it just depends on what your interest is. But I think with a law degree, it's quite flexible, and the opportunities are actually quite limitless when you think about it. Yeah.
And maybe, some lawyers can get CEO as well, managing directors.
Of course, yeah.
Because they're advising the CEOs, and then.
Yep. Absolutely. If you've got enough business knowledge, you can absolutely do that. It's not something that would ever interest me personally, but because I like my little box.
You want to maintain that use your legal skills.
And I think I'm naturally a little bit too risk averse to be in a management role where I'm advising the business in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Stress. How do you handle stress? If you believe in stress, or how do you conceptualize stress?
I don't actually know. I've never been asked that question before ever. How do I handle stress? I think I just deal with it and I move on. I mean, yeah. How do you think I deal with stress?
It looks like
seen me in
it looks
action.
like you don't even have a concept of stress, because you sort of like
stress is all in the mind, isn't it?
Yeah. So you just face any problem you've got.
I mean, every day in reality, again, define stress. What's stress? You wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You have somebody, I don't know, abuse you because you were meant to do something and you didn't complete it, and then it's just another problem that you've got to overcome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you let it stress you out, or does it make you momentarily upset or frustrated? Yes. Then you deal with it, then you move on.
Actually, that's a good point.
I don't know.
It's actually saying a lot about you, because but just by saying that, it means that you actually, because if this is just my opinion maybe, if you acknowledge there is stress, then you make it bigger. You're basically speaking it into existence if you talk about stress.
Yeah.
But if you actually, if you don't consider that it is there, you probably don't have time to deal with it anyway. You just focus on the job.
I think maybe maybe that's what it is that I'm too time poor in reality to vocalize the problem as stress or to allow it to manifest as stress, that I just don't. I consider it a problem or a challenge, and then you either fix it now or you fix it later. And then you work out, well, okay, what do I need to fix it? I need X, Y, Z. Okay, well, I can do that next week, or I can do that tomorrow. And then you just deal with it and move on. But then there's always something else, right?
Yeah.
And then if you let that accumulate, or if you let it snowball, maybe that's how people get heart attacks, because they allow the stress to manifest. But I just think stress is subjective. Some people will wake up and be stressed out at the smallest things. Other people will be able to withhold a whole lot of problems or challenges or inconveniences in their life, but they still
manage to overcome them. Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. I don't know.
Okay.
You've worked with me, and I've always been in, you could say, a high stress environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
In reality, it's been a high stress environment because demands have always been really high.
Yeah.
And we haven't had the resources to meet them. But yeah.
Yeah. So you basically just tackle the problems as they come, and
I try to.
Yeah. As you tackle them, you don't procrastinate, and you tackle them like on a timely manner. Then, because if you don't address problems in a timely manner, that can accumulate, and that can be, for some people, called stress.
Of course, yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes it's timely, other times it's not timely, but of course, I think stress is, it's just what you make of it.
Okay.
And as I mentioned to you before we started recording, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
There's always somebody out there that's got it worse than you.
Yeah.
And if you can step back and have that perspective. It's a very, very powerful thing in terms of managing with managing your issue.
Yeah,
or
not
your
just
current
professionally,
issue.
but also
Personally
life in
as
general.
well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Making hard, difficult decisions. How can these tasks be a little bit easier to do? Because making difficult decisions or difficult conversations, these are difficult things to do. What's your approach?
You've got to
it?
emotionally detach. If it's a business, okay, we'll talk business for the moment, not because you do it on a personal front as well as a business front. You have to emotionally detach. If you have to have a difficult conversation with someone for whatever reason, you've got to think about what is your objective. Because inevitably that conversation is being had in order to meet an objective, whether it's to get a deal done, whether it's to achieve a company objective, whatever the objective is, that's your target.
Yeah.
You have to cast aside the emotion and just get it done.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to do it in accordance with guidelines, laws, whatever it is, but you just have to put the emotion aside and have the conversation.
Stick to the purpose, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which becomes easier as you get older because you probably care less.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you tend to be a bit more impressionable. You think about how people are going. You
overthink.
Overthink. When you're younger, you overthink.
That is true.
As you get older and you become more time poor, you overthink less. So the less you overthink and the more you just do, the easier it becomes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That's good. Okay. And then a couple more points, and then we'll close off the show. How do you?
You look like you're thinking hard. Like it's going to be a hard question.
No, it's actually easy. In terms of doing the actual work, do you use tools in terms of like are you a paper person, digital? Do you use post-it notes to help you with your thinking process sometimes?
I have a to-do list,
Okay.
which I have to keep because my list gets so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, mainly, to be honest, my calendar is my biggest tool because when I have something that I need to address and I know that the deadline is in a week, I'll put that deadline in my calendar and then I'll send myself a reminder or I'll place a reminder in a couple of days before just to make sure I'm on top of it. But mainly my Outlook calendar is my best friend.
Yep.
There's ways that you can do things that are a lot more sophisticated, I'm sure, than the way that I actually use it. But to me, it works well enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, last question, which is more on the tips for up and coming and new managers in terms of maybe top 2 or 3 aside from the things that we've talked about. If you're a new manager, upcoming manager, and you've just been, 2-3 months in the job, what's your top 2-3 tips for them?
If you're new in a management role and managing people, spend as much time as you possibly can understanding your team, because every single member of your team will have a different way of working and they will have different requirements and needs on the basis of how they prefer to work. Part of your role as a manager is to bring the best out of your team and to empower them to be the absolute best they can be.
Yes.
Not only for you as the manager, but for your company overall. Spend the time in getting to know your team, because one thing I found is that the way I interact with the various members of my team is completely different. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. You have to learn about what makes them tick, and you have to adapt yourself accordingly. It's not about getting them to adapt to you. It's about you adapting to them and kind of meeting halfway. Because I've seen countless managers over the years do it wrong, where they have a certain way of doing things and they refuse to
Evolve
and be flexible, right? And it doesn't work that way. You can't have, it's not about putting your style onto them or their preference in management style onto you. It's about kind of meeting in the middle. So spend the first 3 to 6 months understanding your team and what makes them tick and what they want, because in order to bring the best out in them, you have to learn about their style as well. That's my first word of advice. The second thing is have your teams back all the time. So once you've established that trust
Yes.
and that mutual respect, which comes with time, of course, it's not immediate, but once you've got that there and established, you need to be a united front for your team. You need to support them and have their backs no matter what. Keep them away from the corporate politics. Keep
Yes.
them away from the external toxic culture, if it exists, right? It's not relevant to them. You need to isolate them from the crap and just make sure that you're there providing them with the support that they need. If anyone comes to you and says, oh, a member of your team did this, that, whatever, hear them out, but don't be so quick to go back to your team member and say, so-and-so said this,
Yeah.
what's your
Yeah.
excuse? Take the time to listen if there's any complaints or concerns, but also take the time to digest and maybe understand what that person's, whether or not that person's issue is justified or warranted before you automatically go back to your team and repeat what's
Yeah.
been said. Try and shield them from as much crap as you possibly can, because sometimes they're better off not knowing. If it's not something that's going to enrich their role or
Yes.
make them better or benefit the company, then it's just conjecture as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But have your teams back. That's my number
very
one
important.
piece of
Yeah.
advice.
Cool.
Because if you have their back, they will have yours.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
Yep.
And that what makes a team
Yep.
stronger. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that every single person in my team would
Do the same. Yeah.
walk over hot coals for me. And I don't mean that literally, but you know what I mean. They really,
Yeah.
really support me, and I'm so lucky. I'm really, really lucky. Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yep.
Thank
and
you.
I would do the same with that for them. That goes without saying.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you a lot, Christina, for your
Thank
time
you
today and
for having me.
valuable insights today. Thank
Sorry
you.
I didn't get a chance to do hair and makeup.
That's all good. Thank you. My name is Rel, and welcome to the Diary of a Manager.